So if you watched my last video on the road to Diamond 1 in Season 17, on May the 15th, you know that we struggled a little bit in Diamond rank, losing a lot of coin tosses, but we went outside and did some yard work and then came back in and decided to just try to see if we can win the last 2 matches. And sure enough, we did, hitting Diamond 3 on the same day. So also these timestamps are off. These are like actually 1 to 2 hours ahead, I think, because of like the way my computer is set up with daylight savings. I don't know. So like I'm really playing these like later than what's shown here. Regardless though, I'm going to be showing you some matches from our Diamond 4 run into hitting D3. Our last 2 matches we hit against a stun deck and we hit against a Tearlaments deck. What a surprise. So yeah, I will be going over these matches if you're interested in seeing this mini run of 4 wins in order to get us into D3. Let's go ahead and take a look at how some of these matches went. Alright, in this next matchup here, our opening hand looks pretty strong. For going second, I actually can't complain. So the opponent starts off with Terraforming, and I'm like, finally, Tearlaments, finally. Yeah, our opening hand is actually insane to go second with. So I can't complain. So they go Pearl of Rhino, the Summon of the Rhino Heart, they dump Merly. I'm not going to Shifter here. Again, learning my lesson from my previous videos that I've made. I should take my own advice. You want to wait for a really critical choke point in order to activate Shifter. However, I think I telegraphed that I had Shifter because the opponent was seeing my field light up, and I tried to switch my toggle off and then switch it back on quickly, so in case they did something that I did want to Shifter. And normally you would think that that's Max C, but when they did the Merly chain and I didn't chain Max C, they probably realized I was probably Shifter. So yeah, the opponent is now going to go into Kit Kalos, and look what they do here. This is really smart of the opponent. So they bring Havnus, not Merly, and they're going to summon Mudora, pitching Kelbeck. So they don't opt to send the Kit Kalos, even if they had a Merly in hand. I think they know that I have Shifter. And that's why they opted to bring Havnus, right? So they're gonna try to bait the Shifter now with the Kelbeck instead of getting their Kit Kalos banished, right? Which is super smart. And at this point, we're going to Shifter to have the Mill 5 banish instead. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know that this goes from a huge disadvantage for us into a huge advantage, because instead of getting my birds banished in the graveyard, or sorry, sent to the graveyard, they get banished, which means they're all engine for me to recur back, right? So what do we get here? Taking a look. Oh, we lost the Ryza, which is a 1-of, and that hurts, but we got Robina. Look at this. Normal summon Toucan. Like, obviously we're going to bring Map to hand, and then, you know, we have Advent of Adventure to dodge a, like, Imperm or something. But, you know, normal summon Toucan, target whatever Unexplored Winds or Trap card, bring it back, and bring back Robina off of its own effect, and just continue playing. And we have Map in rotation. Like, that turns super strong. That went from being a potentially really bad graveyard mill to an insane banish mill for us. And we look at what the opponent lost. They lost their second Kelbeck, a Scream, an Imperm, and then 2 tier names. So again, what would have been chain links, like, well, they've already used a Kelbeck, but like 1, 2, 3 for them, it all gets banished. So you can see how powerful banishing the Mill 5 can be. And yeah, at this point I'm like, I think I won because I also have evenly matched. The opponent is on Monster Reborn, bro. Are you kidding me? Monster Reborn in Tearlaments? Like, what are you, like, there's no way. So of course they're gonna get Baguska. I'm like so heated, bro. Oh my god. So yeah, they're gonna be able to stall out, and I'm like, okay, of course I need to draw like D-Fissure now. We draw Robina, which actually isn't the worst. So I'm gonna go Battle Phase. I know they're gonna keep Baguska, which means I'm outing 2 1-ofs in their deck in the Kit Kalos and the Pearl of Rhino. So I'm feeling pretty confident. And you know, this opponent has played very, very smart so far. We're gonna go ahead and activate Terraforming, activate Map, and then obviously we can't do much. And if you've watched my previous videos on how we handle Baguska, you know the trick is we need to get birds in rotation. So we don't want to necessarily go for Codebreaker right away, because then our field is kind of useless and we have no normal burst to summon. So I normal summon the first Robina and bring back the second Robina and just pass turn. And we also banished an M-Pin so that we can bring it back with Toucan, because that's actually what I want to go for off of the Toucan if they do end up switching Baguska to attack. So they get Polymerization, or they had it in hand already, and they've already detached their Mudora, so they have a Grave Shuffler live as well. And the Poly is going to fuse all their cards, and we know they had a Havnus, and they're going to go into a Guardian Chimera. This is so smart of the opponent here. And the way that Guardian Chimera works, I have to decide if I want to pop this card now. If I don't, then Guardian Chimera pops it and I can't react with it, because part of its pop is resolving in the chain. So they can't like target it and then I pop it, right? I think this is non-targeting removal. Yeah, it doesn't say targeting, right? So destroy cards your opponent controls, so non-targeting destruction. So because of that, if they choose to destroy this, I can't activate it, but I'm pretty sure they're going to go for map. And they also trigger their Haveness that they fused from hand, so they're returning the Guardian Chimera to deck and the Haveness, and likely going into Dragostapelia because it's a fusion monster and a dark, and sure enough they do. So now they're going to resolve Guardian Chimera, draw 2, and pop map. Look at how the opponent was able to fight back from this. This is insane, right? And I'm just like, if this is an Imperm, I probably lose. If it's a Solic, which is most likely the case, I can probably still win, because off the Dragostapelia negate, I will chain my Advent of Adventure, and that should save me. So let's see what happens here. We're going to now go ahead and draw for turn. We draw D-Fissure, which is pretty strong. That's going to stop any potential Haveness that they may have drawn back into. And we're going to normal summon Robina, target Robina, or not target Robina, sorry, activate Robina in Banish Pile as well. The opponent tries to stop us with the Dragostapelia. We chain Advent of Adventure. Again, Konami, it would be nice if we had a second map because my first one got popped by a Guardian Chimera. But anyways, we are able to save our turn here by grabbing Eaglin off of Advent for some reason. And then off this Robina, I was probably going to grab DD Crow. That's probably what I was thinking because... But then I'm stupid because D-Fissure is up. So my brain is just not working. Yeah, I probably should have grabbed Empin off of that Advent and then searched Eaglin off of this Robina. Or maybe I was aiming for Stree to bait out the Shuffler at the end of the summoning. I don't know what I was going for, but I was in control of that match. That's why the opponent ended up resigning. So yeah, their face down card was non-threat, thankfully, not an Imperm. So GG's to that opponent. All right, so in this matchup here, we're going to switch over to the matches that we actually went first on. And, you know, this technically isn't too bad because we have the Pot of Duality, but we have to hope to unbrick with a second bird somehow. Or an Advent of Adventure. So thankfully we do pot into the Advent here. And we're going to go ahead and activate it, banishing an Eaglin, bringing map to hand. Now this is the strong setup here. We're going to go ahead and activate Fissure and then activate map. The only thing that beats us here, well, not even an Imperm, we would just book a Moon. So we're pretty safe against all interruption. We chain block with Ash, and the opponent resigns, likely because they're on Tearlament and they don't have an out to D-Fissure. And that's why D-Fissure can be FTK against Tearlament. In this final matchup here, we were both on our rank up game, so I was like, oh gosh, but we won the coin toss, so I'm like, thank goodness. And we actually open insane. So we're going to start off with Terraforming, hope no Ash. We do get map to hand, activate map. Now this setup is very interesting. You probably haven't seen me play through this before. I'm actually going to Goldsark for an Empin here, and then I'm going to activate map and banish a Toucan. So what does this setup accomplish? It accomplishes me being able to normal summon Robina, grab Eaglin. Eaglin's going to search for Apex potentially, or the second Empin to get 2 more of the spells in rotation, the Advent and the Unexplored Winds, because I'm going to be able to bring back Toucan and grab Empin. So the double banish between Goldsark and map is actually pretty strong to get multiple Empins in rotation. So the opponent does reveal they are on Impermanence, which does hurt, but we do have the Book of Moon. Now this does mean that our Robina will get sent to graveyard when tributed. It won't be banished. So our Robina is out of rotation until we can banish it with Stree, or just get another one off map next turn, during our next turn. But we are able to search still for the Eaglin now and get Toucan back to hand. Now you could argue that I could have left the Imperm to resolve and still brought Toucan back to hand. Normal summon Toucan for turn, still grab Empin, normal summon Empin, grab Unexplored Winds, and I still have map, Unexplored Winds, and trap in hand. But I did want to get the second Empin in rotation because it's just more powerful follow-up during the opponent's turn. So we do search the Unexplored Winds here. We're going to normal summon Eaglin and grab Empin, double tribute again for another Empin here, and grab Advent of Adventure, bringing Eaglin back to hand. So this, you can argue, is a weaker setup or a stronger setup, up to you, but you had multiple different lines you could have gone for. Now, the only downside is that this Empin is now in the graveyard, and if the opponent's on Tearlament, they get a Grave Shuffler. You know, it's going to be hard to get this in the banish pile with Stree. But we're going to go ahead and activate, and we're going to full commit to hopefully not get evenly matched or dustered. The opponent starts off with Terraforming, grabbing Pearl of Rhino, so I'm like, okay, I know I'm going up against Tear. You're going to go ahead and activate Pearl of Rhino, grabbing Sharon, and at this point, I'm like, okay, do I risk them summoning the Sharon and getting a fusion off? Probably not, because Pearl of Rhino will pop a card on my field, so I'm going to go ahead and activate Dreaming Town now to summon Eaglin. Activating Dreaming Town on the activation of Pearl of Rhino doesn't do anything, so they're still going to get their monster search regardless. But I need to out this Pearl of Rhino. It is a problem if they do end up fusing something. So off of Eaglin, of course, I grab the Apex and I out the field spell. Now at this point, I have a couple lines of operation, right? And the opponent knows that we have Advent. They know we have Toucan. So we have a negate that's going to come back to our hand. As soon as they summon a card, they know we're going to, normal summon that is, we're going to Magnificent Map. Magnificent Map Toucan, bring back, oh geez, we're going to be able to bring back nothing here actually. This is a huge misplay. Oh no, it's not. I remember what I was thinking. I'm going to Advent the M-Pin. Yes, sorry, geez. Look at this advanced thinking, guys. I'm so, like, I get dumber by the day or something. I don't know. I'm thinking smarter in the matches than I am when I review them. So the play was activate Advent, banish the M-Pin, normal summon Toucan, bring back the M-Pin we just banished. Off of this Advent, we search Robina, right? So Toucan's going to resolve, bring the M-Pin back to hand. We tribute off the Toucan and using Unexplored Winds, tribute off the opponent's normal summon card for either Apex or bring out M-Pin again. And if they have multiple cards on field, you know, we bring out M-Pin, we continue summoning, normal summon the Robina, we search off Advent, and then double tribute, bring out Apex. Then we got Apex and M-Pin on field. And that's pretty much GG's. The opponent's really not going to be playing through that. So they kind of just resign, knowing that it's pretty much a GG because they have the knowledge of what we have. So we ended up winning and going into D3. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video.